Have you ever sat back watching a baseball game or listening to a game on radio and wondered, how great would it be to be a play-by-play broadcaster? Or are you already a play-by-play broadcaster and you want to do better baseball play-by-play? Well, today we will talk about those keys, the keys to delivering excellent baseball play-by-play.
Welcome to the Sportscasters Club radio show, where it's all about becoming a better sportscaster and a better sports fan. And now, your host, a man who began his sports broadcasting career way back in 1993, Rick Schultz.
Welcome to the Sportscasters Club online radio show. I am Rick Schultz. Glad to have you with us. This is going to be a fun series as we start part 1 of 3 today, and our title is How to Do Baseball Play-by-Play. This certainly will not be an exhaustive list. It is going to be a chance to give you 3 things, 3 keys that I think if you can grasp and you can understand and take these 3 things, they will give you a great foundation to go out and improve immediately in your baseball play-by-play and give you a great starting block to becoming a better broadcaster. So we're going to talk about baseball play-by-play. It seems like for all the years that I've taught at colleges, online, privately, one of the things I get asked about the most is how do I become a great baseball play-by-play announcer? And I think it has to do with the fact that a lot of us grow up watching baseball and listening to baseball and dreaming about that, being at the ballpark every day, being around a ball club, calling a game on the radio or the TV. And it's just such a romanticized part of sports broadcasting. And that's why we're going to talk about it. Today is going to be part 1, and then we'll have the next 2 parts upcoming. We're going to talk about 3 keys. So today we're going to talk about the first key, and I think it's certainly very important. They're not in any order, but I think if you take these 3 things, you're going to have a great foundation. So coming up, we're going to have key number 1, and I'll have it right after this.
Have you been searching for a community where you can connect with aspiring sportscasters, established sports broadcasters, and serious sports fans? Are you looking for a place where you can network, improve your skills, and grow your career? Come join our exclusive Sportscasters Club VIP membership community. Go to sportscastersclub.com and click on membership. That's sportscastersclub.com and click on membership. And during our grand opening, use the promo code SPORTS to save 50%. So join our exclusive VIP community today. Visit sportscastersclub.com and click on membership. We'll see you there.
All right, welcome back to the Sportscasters Club online radio show. Just to give you an idea, I started my baseball broadcasting career back in 1994 for the Hudson Valley Renegades, a minor league ball club of the Texas Rangers at the time. They then split between the Texas Rangers and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. In fact, there was one year where half of the team were Rangers and half were Devil Rays. Pretty interesting. And then the team, as they are still today, an affiliate of the Rays. And then I moved on to the New York Yankees AA team in Norwich, Connecticut. Spent time there when they had some up-and-coming prospects such as Drew Henson and some others that were there at the time. But what I want to talk about, and I just say that just to give you an idea of being in professional baseball, the fact that I've come across a lot of broadcasters. I've called hundreds, if not thousands of games myself, and then coached and worked with hundreds, if not thousands of broadcasters along the way. So this is not going to be an exhaustive how to do play-by-play to give you everything A to Z. If you're looking for that, we have you covered. You can either check out our exclusive VIP membership at sportscastersclub.com. I think that's the best opportunity. Or you can also check out the online course that we have covering all areas of sports broadcasting, including play-by-play. But one of those 2 places will give you a lot more in-depth as far as the knowledge you need and the how-to of baseball play-by-play. But this series is going to be 3 parts, 3 keys to delivering excellent baseball play-by-play. If you can master these 3 over the next 3 episodes, you'll be on your way. These will be really great foundations. And these are things that I've picked up over the last 25 years, not necessarily something that I formulated or discovered. It really has come from other professionals in the business. And so we're going to start today with number 1. The first key to delivering excellent baseball play-by-play. And I say that first key is attention to detail. Attention to detail. And when I say that, I mean it in a few different contexts. The first thing that I'm talking about is, particularly on radio, your descriptive terminology describing the action for your listener. And we go through a lot of this in the VIP community, and we talk a lot about what this means. It really stems back for me to my time working under and being mentored by the great Marty Glickman in New York City, who was the pioneer of basketball broadcasting, and he was as much of a pioneer in the industry as has ever been, tutoring the likes of Marv Albert, Bob Costas, and Mike Breen, and all the broadcasters that came out of New York, certainly. But then being someone who was called upon by the big networks, HBO, NBC, and he turned Bill Walton from a stuttering ex-athlete into a well-spoken commentator. And he's worked with many, many broadcasters over his career. So that's where the attention to detail and the descriptive terminology comes from. And Marty would always say, you want to paint that word picture in the mind's eye of your listener. What does that mean? Well, it means when you're broadcasting a baseball game, on radio particularly, we'll get to TV in a second, you want to be able to describe the action so your listener can see it in their mind. They should be able to close their eyes and see the action. For example, you want to pretend and describe in such a way, such a deep, descriptive way, that it's as if they were sitting in the ballpark in the seat next to you. You want to broadcast the game as if they were right there so they can see exactly what you see. So you want to describe that terminology. For years in New York, it was Michael Kay talking about the Yankees and their interlocking NY and then describing the colors, the description, the armbands of the uniforms, any descriptive terminology that described those uniforms. He touched on every single little detail. And on the radio, it's excellent because you need it. And that is the kind of thing that Marty Glickman was talking about. You want to describe the action in such detail. And in baseball, obviously it's 90% downtime, 10% action. If that, maybe it's 95-5. And so you want your descriptive terminology to be not only in the downtime, but definitely while the ball's in play. So describe in great detail. So for example, one of the things I always tell my students, and I've said for years when I, let's say, do an all-day seminar at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, I would tell them that by the end of that day, you'll be able to listen to a radio broadcast and know whether it is good, solid, descriptive play-by-play or whether it's lazy play-by-play. So lazy play-by-play might sound like pitch, fly ball, back goes Anderson, and there's 1 out. That might be a lazy radio play-by-play, really a pretty poor one. But a better description, and this is just coming off the top of my head, might be he sets, delivers, fastball, cut on, and skied high in the air, deep center field. Anderson drifts back, puts his right hand up to shade the sun, and he makes the catch with his left, and there's 1 down. Now, just in that quick little example, you can see the detail and how those descriptive words allow you to see it. I was able to describe in much more detail the pitch, where it was hit, what the fielder was doing, because these are all things you notice when you're at a game. And so you want a listener to see the same things in their mind that you see at the game. And obviously this carries over to other sports as well, basketball, football, hockey. And this is mainly on radio, where you're describing and you have to be extremely descriptive. Ground ball, third base, David Wright to his left, scoops on one hop, picks it up, fires across to first in time for the out. That would be a more descriptive call than ground ball, third base, right? And there's one out. So you want to be descriptive, describing. Marty oftentimes would throw out the example of a football player making a great catch. Well, what's a great catch? A great leaping one-handed catch as his toe comes down on the sideline. That is a descriptive great catch. And that's what we want to do in baseball play-by-play. Now, here's the difficulty. 90% of the time, maybe 95%, you're in casual mode. You're throwing out tidbits. You're sharing a lot of different things to fill in and color the broadcast. You're bantering with a partner. Those are all great, and we get into those in great detail, whether we touch on them in our VIP community or the online course. But for this period, we're talking just here about using detail in your play-by-play. And it's sometimes very difficult to go from that color commentary, that casual style, to all of a sudden the action of a play and descriptive mode. And it's a skill that can be practiced. It can be honed and improved and practiced. And there are definitely ways you can improve it and become better. We did a show a couple months ago here on the online radio show where we talked about how broadcasters can improve on this very thing, even when they're sitting home by themselves. Or when I was a college student, I did it in my dorm room. There were things I could do to improve sitting by myself in my dorm room or in my car or wherever I was. And those are things that broadcasters can do to improve. So connect with us on the VIP community or check out our podcast a couple months ago. But these are things you can do to improve that. But detail's the key. Detail is the key. Now that's the detail of the actual play-by-play, the live action. But in terms of doing baseball play-by-play, there's also the detail that you're able to add when the ball's not in play. So it's the detail of filling in the context of the game. The standings, the league leaders, the major storylines. These are all details that help you provide a better broadcast and a better product for your listener or viewer. So detail doesn't only mean the play-by-play and the actual description of the terminology. That's the most important way to add detail on radio, but there's a lot of other ways as well. And on TV, your detail is a lot more that than it is the description. Because on TV, less is more. Doing baseball play-by-play, much more of the focus is on that, filling in the gaps, the color commentator. You're more of a traffic cop, identifying and then kind of leading a conversation because the viewer can see it. You don't have to describe, and you should not, and you better not describe in detail on TV as you would on radio. One of my big pet peeves, and you'll probably see it now too, because I know students that have gone through our courses have had the same view afterwards, is that they'll watch a television broadcast and they'll say that guy just never shut up because he did a radio broadcast on TV. And there are some well-known broadcasters that do that in baseball. I'm not going to name names. But if you watch and if you listen and if you watch telecasts, you'll see it too. You'll see it as well, and it'll really bother you as well. So on TV, you don't have to describe with the descriptive terminology because the viewer can see it. On radio, describe. Use detail, use descriptive terminology. And then regardless, whether it's radio or TV, the detail you can provide and enlighten your viewer or listener with the surrounding information to help them catch up to speed. See, baseball is an everyday thing. So someone can check in on a Tuesday, watch part of a ball game, check back in on a Thursday. Maybe they'll catch a game on a Sunday. Or maybe they're the fan that watches or listens to every single game. I think most fans kind of drift in and out of games over the course of a season. And so by adding that detail, providing that detail periodically to kind of get your viewers or your listeners caught up to speed, very helpful. Very helpful. For example, a player has an injury and the status of that player changes today or tomorrow. Give your listeners and your viewers the update. Keep them informed. And it's not something that has to be only once a game. If you're on for 3 hours, bring it up again, because throughout the course of a game, you get people tuning out, tuning in. There's always someone new getting in their car, turning on the ball game, or pulling out their phone and pulling out their app and starting to listen. So you always want to give those details to fill in the gaps whenever someone is going to listen or turn on the game. So I hope that helps. That is the first key. Again, these three are not in any order, but in this 3-part series, we're going to cover 3 keys to delivering excellent baseball play-by-play. And today's part 1, attention to detail. And we had a really strong focus on radio and the description language, the descriptive terminology that you always want to have. And certainly we're available to help you get there, to help you improve. Our VIP membership community can certainly help. You can network with others who are broadcasting as well. Or if you just want to know a little bit more about it, check us out at sportscastersclub.com. Maybe the online course might be the best way for you to learn. So either way, we've got you covered. And when I come back, I'm going to give you a little bit of tease towards our next episode, which will be part 2.
Are you enjoying the Sportscasters Club online radio show? If so, please hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. When we release each new show, you'll be the first to know. So hit the subscribe button in your podcast app today, and we'll keep the awesome, cool, entertaining, and informative material coming.
All right, as we wind down this episode, once again, part 1, the keys to delivering excellent baseball play-by-play. The first key today was attention to detail. Next time, we're going to talk about a little bit more with your play-by-play that's specific to baseball and how you can differentiate yourself. And it stems from a conversation I had with a top executive that did hiring and firing of broadcasters in a top market in this country. And he and I were sitting down and he was listening to my baseball play-by-play. This was probably 20 years ago. And the first thing he said to me, he went into some detail about it, about one thing I can do to become a better baseball play-by-play announcer. And I want to share that with you as well. So in our next episode, I'm going to share that. So please subscribe. Please share this with your friends, whether they're sports fans or sports broadcasters. And I look forward to our next episode. I'm Rick Schultz, and we will talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Sportscasters Club radio show at sportscastersclub.com. Don't forget to subscribe so you will never miss an episode. And thanks for liking, sharing, posting reviews, and spreading the word.